Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've done a language video, but obviously with the exam looming on the horizon, the Unit 2 and the Unit 3 exam, I thought it'd be worth revisiting some of the question types and teaching you how I do them. Now, if you're in my classes and you're watching this video, you know the way that I teach them, but those of you who've never done this before, it will be quite useful for you to know before you go into the exam. Now, comparison is where I'm going to start because these are high tariff questions, 10-mark questions that are going to take up a lot of your time in the exam. So I've got here, compare what the writers say about the impacts of violent media on young children. Now, how would you approach this question? Well, first of all, you need to make sure that in the exam you highlight the sections that are relevant. So compare would be the first thing I'd highlight. And then impacts of violent media on young children, because that's going to be my focus. Now, they always have some kind of word focus. So in this case, it's impacts of violent media. In previous exams, they've had things like compare the ways this is beneficial or something like that. Always highlight that keyword because you need to keep coming back to that in your response. If you're asked to write about the benefits of something and you start talking about the negatives, they will not credit you and you will fail the question. So please pick up those keywords. Comparisons tend to be 10 marks as well. They don't tend to go for uneven marks on comparisons, but with the WJEC, you never know. Sometimes they will just throw in the odd random marker. Originally, it was just 5 markers and 10 markers, but all over the place, they've thrown in 8 markers, 7 markers, 4 markers. We never know, okay? But most of the time, comparisons are 10 markers. Now, preparing your comparisons then, how do you do it? So read the first text, so in this case, text A, and highlight at least 5 relevant quotes to the question. Step 2, read the second text, so in this case, text B, and highlight at least 5 relevant quotes. But what I would do is keep the previous text in the back of your mind while you do this. Helpfully, the exam board tends to have these two texts on the same double page spread, so you're able to see it a little bit easier. And step 3, number match your quotes by topic. Which quotes discuss the same or opposite ideas in each text? So what I mean by that is, if we have a look at our 2 texts, violence in the media is damaging our children and violent media bad reputation. In my first text, I might have found we should limit exposure to violent acts for the best interests of our children, which definitely links to my question. And then in the second text, I might have found explosive entertainment should be a family affair. So obviously text A is telling us that we should limit it. We shouldn't be showing violent acts because our children may be influenced by it. But in text B, it's saying explosive entertainment should be a family affair. So they're arguing you should show it to children. It should be a family event. So I found a point from each, and they discuss exposing or limiting children to violent media. So what I'm doing then, I'm putting a 1 by the first one and a 1 by the second one. So that means when I come to write my response, I got my 2 points and I've numbered them. So I know when I'm writing, these are the 2 things that are going to be linked together. The same way as I find violent media is associated with aggressive behavior and violent media may not hurt children. So one text is saying, yes, it encourages aggressive behavior, and the other one is saying it doesn't. So I'm putting 2s by them, okay? Moving that on, do the texts agree or disagree in those points? And then I answer it using this structure. I give an overview of the comparison point. I state what the first text says with a quote, and then tell them what it suggests with a little bit of inference. Then similarly, or however, I say what the second text states and what it suggests. Now, I'd highly recommend changing the way you organize these sentences every time you do one, just to make it interesting for the examiner, and also you're then able to access the higher bands because you're varying the way that you write these. So if I wanted to show you one, I might write something like this. The texts disagree on whether we should let children watch violent media. Text A states we should limit exposure to violent acts for the best interests of our children. This suggests that violent media can have a negative impact on children and how they should be protected from it. On the other hand, text B states explosive entertainment should be a family affair. This disagrees with text A, implying that violence is safe enough to be enjoyed and encouraged by the whole family. Notice how each stage I've talked about what text A states, what text B states, and I've been very particular on using my connectives and saying whether it agrees or disagrees with the previous text. You must include that comparative language to score highly on comparison questions. I hope this video has been useful, and let me know if you'd like me to do any more. Thank you. Bye-bye.